everybody, welcome to T-Ham 141 Homestead. I am Tracy, and if you're watching this on the rerun, thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that little notification bell. This is actually me, but there's nobody in here, so I'm kind of goofy. Yeah, as you could probably tell by the thumbnail, winter has struck in the second half of February. Go figure. I've had to plow twice in 5 days. The Branson is doing wonderful as always. I expect nothing less. Tuesday of this week, we started we recorded the number 5 podcast that will actually come out. It will actually be released on the 23rd. Number 4 is due to come out. Actually, number 3 is due to come out on the 24th, and number 4 is due to come out on the 9th. And oh my gosh, which one was it? It was number 3. I was rolling. Oh my gosh, I was rolling. There's some really good information. I think number 4 coming out on the 9th of March. Hey, Peter, how's it going? Welcome, my friend. Welcome. We're talking about the No Borders podcast, No Borders Homesteaders podcast. And number 3 will be coming out at 2:15 p.m. on the 24th. And it is, I'm having so much fun doing the podcast. There's me, Rem's Family Farm, Mahi Lynn from Little Homestead by the Beach, Derek from Thorhaven Farm, Angie from Me and You Homestead, Lynn from Bucket List Homestead, and then there's Patrick also. And man, oh man, we are having so much fun. And when we go to the after show, it is just like, we don't worry about what we say. There are certain things on YouTube you're not supposed to say. One of the reasons we talk about pews, and different things like that. But man, over there, it is just awesome on Patreon. And if you're paying in United States dollars, it is like $3.30 or something like that a month for a subscription. Yeah. So Tuesday we did that. This weekend, what was it? What day was it? Was it Saturday? Friday or Saturday? I woke up, got a little fruit fly flying around. What in the world did I let go rotten this time? Yeah, sometimes you got to be like 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes into the live stream, Peter, before the weather will work, before Nightbot takes over. Let me come up here. I got to turn the heart off on the chat too, or Mary Lynn will get me. She doesn't like that. But yeah, I got a call at 1:30 in the morning and ended up going to, oh my gosh, I forgot to monetize too. I got a call from the rental. They had a burst pipe. Now it wasn't from it wasn't from cold. It was there. That should make it go away. It was from the pipes are just that old. Hey Mimi, how's it going? In the rental, I know I redid the piping in 95. That is just short of what, 30 years ago, right? 95, 2005, 2015, 2020. Yeah, just short of hey Dave, how's it going? Welcome. And well, I have it here. I don't know where it's in this box anyway, right here. I don't know if you will be able to see in there. Yeah, right. I gotta. Can you see that? There. This is the fitting that the pipe goes into. Okay. See how that's a little swollen right here? That's and this is the pipe, these little pieces here. But it was so you could see where the water has just wore it right away in there. And so it was bringing little tiny leaks because it's on a corner. It was so thin. And I fixed the first where they first got the hole was on the trunk line that runs through and then it splits off to go to the bathroom and the kitchen and the well, to the bathroom, the kitchen, and everywhere else it needs to go, I guess. Yeah, the pinhole was actually, let's see, the elbow right here. The pinhole was actually right here. And I fixed the first one, and then this one, I was hearing water. And I'm like, what in the world? Where am I hearing water? And so I finally found the spray and I traced the spray back to here. And the valve, it's an old, one of those old decorative twist valves. And where you shut the water off, the water comes in the wall with a copper pipe. And then you have this valve here. And the problem, did I lock a cat out? Hold on one second, guys. Oh, what am I hearing? No, I didn't lock a cat out. Why are you meowing? I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why he was meowing. Yeah, and so well, the steel of the valve was where it was screwed. Yeah, the kitty wants attention. He always wants attention, especially early in the morning. But I was terrified of it, so I took and I bought some of this tape. It's silicone tape. It's supposed to work on everything from radiator hoses, garden hoses, stuff under pressure. And I put this on it. And then I went around this with a plumber's epoxy because I wanted to make sure it didn't leak. And it did anyway. But and oh my gosh, I told them, I said, give it till like 6 o'clock tonight and then go ahead and turn the water back on slowly. And they said, well, it's just barely dripping. I said, okay, I can live with that. Well, then they called later and they said, yeah, we checked it yesterday. On Sunday, they checked it and it was a steady drip. And so I went down to fix it. The scary part was the pipe comes in, like, this is the wall. Yeah, this is the wall of the cellar, and it comes in about this far. And then you have that valve, and it's all soft copper. You know, the copper you use for propane and stuff. Oh, I'm losing people. I'm sorry, didn't realize that was so boring. Oh well. And so I had to hold it with a wrench and turn that fitting out, and oh my goodness, it was just crazy. It didn't want to come out. So I heated it up, but you got to be careful because being so close to the internals of that valve, those old valves got like rubber and stuff in them. And so I ended up getting it out, and I replaced it with PEX. But oh, I was so nervous because if I would have, that soft copper that came in the wall, if I would have pushed down, I would have been able to just break that right off. But if I would have got a leak on the back side of that valve, hey J&B, there would be nothing that I could do to stop the water from just rushing in full pressure until the town got there. They would have to clear the snow off the curb. It's not really a curb. And then use a metal detector to find the thing, put that big long tool down there and shut the water off there. I would have flooded the whole cellar. It was, hey, J&B. So I was really stressed over it, and God is good, and it worked out great for me. I got it replaced. I want to replace all the copper with PEX. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Replacing old copper with PEX. It will be expensive. I don't know what you guys, what experience you guys have. This is a shark bite connector. Okay, and the cool thing about the shark bite connectors is I can take this is a 1/2 inch, and I can take the 1/2 inch shark bite connector and push it onto a 1/2 inch copper, a 1/2 inch PVC, a 1/2 inch PEX, and it automatically seals. It automatically seals it up. So there's no soldering involved. It's just boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it was scary. One wrong move. I don't usually get things this tight, but one wrong move and I would have flooded the entire basement. There is a sump pump, but I don't think the sump pump would keep up with the pressure that they have in Port Leyden, because their water tanks are way up there. There are pumps that fill the water tanks, but the water tanks are way up on the valley wall. So they get a lot of pressure. Plus, over the years, the sediment and rust inside the water pipes at this point is outside the town pipes is horrible. But yeah, so basically with the PEX, I just use these shears. These I cut something too hard. That's why they have those nicks in them. But you just use the shears to cut the PEX. It's just like a plastic tubing, and then you stick it on it. You cut it to measure, and bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Bob's your uncle. It is so much easier. It does not conduct cold, so it's a thicker wall. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but it's a thicker wall than copper. It does not conduct the cold, so it's not as likely to freeze. It can still freeze, and it'll have a little more give to it if it does freeze, for a little swelling, but you really don't want it to freeze. And so, yeah, that was my weekend and my Monday. Our church this Saturday is getting, wait a minute, let me make sure I'm not lying to you here. Month. Yeah. This Saturday, our church is handing out, the pastor bought 1,000 sets of glasses. We are in Port Leyden, Lions Falls area, which is north of me, but that's where I go to church and everything. We are in a perfect spot to view this lunar eclipse. I did plumbing for 40 years. PEX is okay. I crimp it. Don't mess with soldering. Yeah. Well, with these shark bites, you don't have to worry about even crimping it. You just stick it in there, and it's fastened in there, and it seats right on there. It's literally as simple as cutting to length, putting the end on the pipe that you have running, and then taking the pipe you're connecting and just pushing it in, making sure it's tight, and then move on to the next one. No soldering, which I can solder. I've soldered for years, but the house here is all PEX and shark bites, the shark bite connectors. But yeah, our church is going to be handing out the glasses for free, so you can watch the solar eclipse, or the lunar eclipse. The moon is going in front of the sun, and we are right in that window, I guess, between Watertown and, I want to say, Boonville or Rome is the best place to view the eclipse, which is really cool. So I'm going to go Saturday and help them hand those out. If you want to, they're free. You just got to drive by the church, and you don't even have to get out of your car. Just pull up to the doors, and we'll hand them. We'll hand you the packet that we're handing out. I know it's a long way for a lot of you, but if there are any locals that say, "Hey, even though I know this guy, I'm gonna do this anyway." Yeah, welding helmets work. Welding helmets work. Yeah, I love science, astronomy, and science, and it's all, man. Why do I have blood on my finger? I'm not bleeding on my face. Oh, what in the world is that from? Got some blood on my arm. YouTube doesn't like blood. Huh. Anyway, and I'm not even in the kitchen. Yeah, science. You think of Galileo and Aristotle, and, well, Socrates was more of a philosopher. Kepler, all Newton. They all were studying science to study God. They believed that if there was a God, which they believed there was, that you would be able to find his signature within the makeup and the order of the universe. And it is just, I think I'll just get the glasses from our chamber. Oh, your Chamber of Commerce is selling them for $2. Okay. Well, good. Yeah. Don't use regular sunglasses, though. Yeah. You trying to use these would mean going blind. My future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. Hey, Life in the Valley. Can't stay long. Have to run out and get Alyssa from work soon. Nice. Hey, Templin Acres. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But then I have been editing the BH NBH podcast, the No Borders Homesteaders. We do an hour on YouTube and an hour on Patreon. And the hour on Patreon, oh my gosh, I was just rolling. There's a few times we have to remind some of us that, hey, we're still on YouTube. You can't say that. But then we go over to Patreon and we have a blast. And we're taking turns hosting it and everything, and it is going to be some of them, man, I'm just rolling. So that's what I've been doing, because I've been we're recording them with StreamYard. Then I download them and I do edit. Like if somebody messes up and swears or something like that in the first 60 seconds, I'll quack it out. And stuff like that, because, you know, and different words that YouTube doesn't like, I'll block on YouTube. But then once you get to the Patreon side of things, it's no hold bars. We were talking all sorts of cool stuff. But I've really been enjoying that. And it's an excuse to get together. Like I said, Rem's Family Farm, Little Homestead by the Beach, Me and You Acres, Back to Basics Homestead, Patrick Cost, Thorhaven Farm, and me. We're all getting together. We're not all there every time, but just talking with these people. And the amount, Patrick hosted, I think it was number 4. Number 3, podcast number 3 will be coming out on the 24th. And I think it was maybe it was podcast number 3 was we were talking about rabbits, because we have some people amongst us. We have so much knowledge on so many different things, and a lot of information was put out both on the YouTube and the Patreon. We even got some recipes, how to cook it, what it tastes like. Once we got to Patreon, we were even able to discuss dispatching the animal and preferred ways of doing that and stuff. There are certain topics, like skinning a deer. Yeah, we do. We really do. I gotta say, we have a great group up here. There are certain topics that you can't reach on YouTube, and like skinning a deer or cleaning an animal, and stuff like that you can do as long as you're doing it right on Patreon. You know, I mean, they're not going to let you torture an animal. But and I don't even know if I would put the dispatching of the animal on there. But up to that point to show how it's done. But so we can put those types of videos on the Patreon channel, and it kind of frees us up to hit topics that there is the ugly side of YouTube. Sorry, there's an ugly side of homesteading. For some reason, they don't mind when we murder vegetables. They don't mind when we steal honey from bees. But homesteading has that side where you have to dispatch animals. This spring, I am going to be culling my older hens, and several roosters. I'm going to be sending them to freezer camp, and that's a video that probably will never see YouTube. It will go on that Patreon. And that goes for the betterment of the group. We're all, if it ever makes any money, we'll split it. We'll figure out that when it comes. But there is a free subscription, and we are working on bringing out free for the Patreon. We're working on bringing out free content. But right now it's $5 Canadian or $3.20 or something to that effect American US dollars for a month for the Patreon channel. And I got to tell you, we have a lot of fun on the YouTube side of it. We really do. I really enjoy that. But then when we get to Patreon, it is just insane. And if you know some of us, Darren from Thorhaven Farm, Angie from Me and You Acres, Remy, me, we just have a blast because that's what life is for. Don't wait until you're 65 and retire to start having a blast. Now is the time. And this is winter. So every week, hey John, how's it going? Welcome. Every week we record an episode, and then it's coming out twice a month. The podcast, twice a month, you'll get a podcast and an after show. The podcast comes out on YouTube, and the after show, this is No Borders Homesteaders. It's just, we're having a blast at it. And I look forward to approaching topics that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, and not just politics. Yeah, every day as if it's your last. Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of thinking because it's winter on the homestead. And there's not a whole lot other than plowing and doing chores and cleaning the house. And I'll be darned, it's Wendy's turn to clean the house. Just the way it is. No. But I have a lot more time. And on the homestead, you have a lot more time in the winter to think about things, and February's always been a hard month for me. Since the war, it's just different memories come flooding back out of nowhere and stuff like that. But cat, you see this back here? They're going nuts. Very distracting. But yeah, you get the winter blues. Time to get a. I don't trust the ice. Yeah, a man and his thoughts can get scary. That's absolutely true. Absolutely. This in the past year, a 43 and 42-year-old woman I knew passed away out of the blue. Yeah, you just don't know. Hey, Tammy, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. But winter, we're right now, like with the No Borders Homesteaders channel, we are excuse me. Hey! Stop it! Knock it off! Handsome! Richie! It's just water, I promise. Yeah, I'm the same way. They tell me I'm supposed to do it every day, man. They tell me I'm supposed to clean the house every day. Oh my gosh, they're still going at it. Yeah. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I just don't want them to hurt each other. Come on, guys. Where are you? Where are you? Daddy's at work. Dingleberries. They knock one of my wrenches off that table onto the batteries, and I'll know it for sure. Wow, that got intense. I don't know where they went. This is just water. It lets them know I'm not happy, and hubby beat cancer twice and has a history on both sides of the men dying young from heart attacks. So I want him to enjoy everything as much as he can because tomorrow isn't promised. Absolutely. I have to use sad light to get through the winter and not even north. Yeah. I've had 3 days of beautiful, 3 or 4 days of beautiful sun. My batteries have been floating from the solar panels all day because I'm off grid. They've been floating, which means that they've made it to a point where it's just going to trickle charge the batteries. And then, like if the freezer kicks on, it'll take the power from the solar panels instead of the batteries and stuff. And then today it was gray and rainy, kind of a mist rain all day. And it was like, man, it totally erased those 4 days in my mind. Yeah, I'm very, very sorry, Templin, for your loss. Days are starting to get longer now, though. I had light till around 5:15 or so today. Getting nice and warm next week. Yes. I should have tapped trees this past weekend, but I didn't. Because of the stuff going on with the plumbing in the rental house and stuff. And I should have tapped trees if I'm gonna, because I can make a lot of syrup. But now that being said, I have been toying with the idea of not tapping trees because from 2 years ago, I still have 2 gallons of syrup. Yes, it was really unexpected. One had a 3-year-old, the other had kids in middle school. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I hate cancer. And 100%, my uncle got lung cancer within 30 days. It went all through him. Oh man. I am so sorry, life in the valley. I have a ton of people buying slab wood off me for their boilers. Some of them have been at it for 2. Yes. Yeah. With the warm weather, to get the sap really flowing, you want it to get below freezing at night. below 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit at night, and then up in the low to mid 40s during the day. And that really gets it going. Tracy, it's seasonal affective disorder. Yeah, full spectrum light helps. I would think. Yeah. The problem with that is light is electricity. And I am off grid, which I'm using a big ring light here, which it's all LEDs and stuff. But it's yeah, I do use some of that. One reason Februarys are hard for me is intrusive thoughts and stuff. I have PTSD from the Gulf War. I don't understand it because apparently the people sitting next to me and that I fought with are doing fine. I almost got 100 gallons of sap the past few days. Wow. See, I don't know, because it's just me. And like I said, I've got 2 gallons left. I've been giving it to my sister-in-law. She loves maple syrup. But I don't use a lot of syrup. Now, that being said, if things keep getting rough and prices keep going up, I will be boiling it down and then slowly boiling it down to a paste if I can do it without burning it, and then put it in the dehydrator and making sugar. They are tapping trees here already, cooking sap. I got a quarter in a trade. Yeah, a quart in trade. Yeah, it is. It's expensive to buy, and yeah, maple syrup is awesome. 100 gallons of sap will be what, two let's see, 40 to 1 is 100 divided by 40 equals 2. So that's 2.5 gallons. If you get the 40 to 1 ratio. So that's awesome. We go through 40 liters of sap ourselves and sell the rest. I'm up to 400 taps this year and made 5.5 liters 2 weeks ago. Wow. We have a good 25 acres of nothing but maple. I yo-yo the side of a hill. I want to make a shack at the bottom, run lines, and use gravity to feed it all. Yeah. Pails for something like that. Pails would not be desirable. I got eggs and maple syrup, and I have jars of canned venison. Best trade I've made in a long time. Wow. I gave jars of canned. Yeah, absolutely. That is fantastic. Okay. Okay, 40 liters of syrup. Okay. I think this is the one. 25. No, that's not the one. Come on, what's going on with my... Right here, we go through 40 liters of syrup ourselves and sell the rest. Wow, man. That's just a lot. I hauled pails as a kid for my dad and much older brother. Yeah. I have a whole playlist of syrup. Tapping the trees, making the syrup. And The four-wheeler is not running, but I got the tractor to haul. I got a 55-gallon drum. Well, it's a plastic drum, and I got it all set so that I'm gonna put it on a pallet and strap it so it doesn't roll, and then I'll just use the forks. I'll set that 55-gallon barrel there and just run my lines all into that barrel, and then when it's full, then I'll take maybe a 5-gallon bucket and put them in a 5-gallon bucket. But then I can just pick up the 55-gallon drum, the pallet with the drum on it, and bring it over and go ahead and burn it. Burn it. No, not burn it. Boil it. I want to come up with a more permanent boiling station. The way I used the woodshed, and it worked, but you have to set it up. Then when you're not using it, it's in the way. So you take it down after the and it's just, I'm lazy. Life in the Valley, I'm on all lines and it's awesome. 3 or 4 collection. Yeah. Sounds like an enormous loss. Yeah. Sorry, the uncle. 10 US gallons. Wow. That's a lot, Dave. That's a lot of syrup. Did I miss where Dave said 10 US gallons? 10 gallons of syrup is a lot. Oh, yeah. Duh. 400 gallons would be, right? 400 by 10 is 40. Yeah, that's 10 gallons. I'm no good at math any time of the day. They had me doing math in the morning one day, and oh my goodness, it was a disaster. We often barter fish for steaks, and I also barter minerals for fuel and different things too. Can't sell wild game, but you could, yeah, absolutely. They don't need to know, hey, I gave some friends some fish and they gave me whatever, you know? They didn't have to give me the whatever. I wasn't selling it for, I wasn't getting financially, I wasn't getting income from it of any kind. Yeah. Trade and barter is going to come back. I was talking with my mom today, and I told her, I said, man, I hope it's quite a few years before things get to the point that I think they're going to get to. But there's going to be a time when I just fade back into the homestead, become the gray man, just stick to the homestead, only go out when I absolutely have to. Things are getting bad. We often barter because folks around here are short of cash, but big on shit. Yeah, absolutely. If I'm making, okay, who was it? Was it John? Why is that not working? Where am I? That's not what I'm looking for either. 40 liters. Yeah, if you're going to be making the syrup anyway, you've got the taps in the trees, and they're going to give the sap this time of year, and throughout the tapping season, they're going to give it. You might as well collect it, and since you have everything set up, go ahead and make all you can, and then that is that will be better for you to be able to trade. Guys, people are interested in sugar. That catastrophic sugar, making sugar out of beets, is it worth it? That video is my all-time best video. The video is not my best. It's my all-time best performing video. You know, the one where I bled so much in the beets that the white beets that they turned red. So I couldn't give anybody the sugar anyway. It was good sugar. Let's see. I started with about the same 7 years ago. This year we were, yeah, that is awesome. There's a lot of work to it, but that work is so rewarding. You're taking water from a tree and making something that is so precious. That you can make candy, you can make syrup, you can make sugar, and you did that. Man, there are so many people today that don't understand. They don't know what it feels like to have made something from nothing. To make a finished product out of something that nature gives. I can't say out of nothing because you started, no offense, but you started with the tree sap, which is sugar water, which is really good for you in itself, even if you don't boil it down. Yeah, and once you get it streamlined and down where you don't have to do very much, I should check that video out because they grow sugar beets to us. And if you glean after the harvest of fields, you can collect Yeah. Don't try to do it by hand or use a grater. Use a food processor or whatever to grate your beets. Don't be clumsy like I am. The kitchen on my homestead, I can be outside with a chainsaw. I'm not worried about it a bit. I have to do something in the kitchen, I start getting nervous because I'm going to get hurt. Kitchen, on T-Han 141 Homestead, the kitchen is the most dangerous place. Hey, quiet listener, how you doing? Welcome. We're just talking about winter between the blues and it's sugar season and all this other stuff. Yeah. There's definitely a smell. Even with the sugar beets. Definitely a smell. And the amount I got for the amount of beets that I process. And I try to do things the hard way so that I know that if things go bad, I can do them the hard way. Okay. And so I was trying to do it the hard way, but even doing it the easy way is sometimes really tough. Yeah, so many little things growing up in an apartment complex. Wish they could have opportunities to learn. Yeah, man. You plant that seed. You plant a seed. And then that little green, you guys all know what I'm talking about. That little green sprig. It's not even sticking up yet. It's just a bent over sprig starts coming out of the soil. That is one of the best feelings in the world. I used to keep a pitcher of sap in the refrigerator. Yeah, sap is very good for you. Birch sap, it only runs for like 2 weeks. But if you're in the woods, you can literally make a homemade tap from the birch tree, actually, and hang water bottles or whatever, and it is so high in vitamin C and antioxidants. You know, the stuff that kills cancer, antioxidants? Yeah, it's got that. That's why they don't want us growing our own fruits. But I'm on YouTube, so I'll be good. I'll be good. I won't go into the. Yeah, winter causes cabin fever, and we have to be careful of that. I was talking earlier. I don't know if you were in here. We had. Uh-oh. I hear an owl and my chicken coop door is open. Hold on 1 second. I have to deter the owl. 1 second. Do not be alarmed. I just got to spook the owl away. On the count of 3, everybody make a loud quack noise. Quack! Y'all hear that duck quack? Sorry about that, guys. There was an owl over in the trees over here. I heard him hooting. And so I just stepped out the back porch. It's too dark to see anything. And I just fired in that direction up in the air, so it wasn't going to hurt anything. The object was not to hurt the owl. The object was to scare him or her away till I can get out there and close that door. Let's see here. Yes, it is. I planted my snow peas, so it will be a month before I see those. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Does anyone know what sap people used to seal up boats? It wasn't sap. It was pitch. There is a difference between sap and pitch. Sap is thinner. It's more the consistency of water, whereas pitch is thicker. And you heat it up and it'll get gooey. You don't boil it. Yeah, and pine tar. That's what they use on boats. Now, the Indians used to. There is a way you can take a white birch tree, and if you find one that's fallen in the woods, or a huge stand of birch trees, I wouldn't suggest doing this with a live tree because you're going to kill the tree. But they would take a tree about that big around, and they would slice it and peel it back, and that's how they made their canoes. That bark is waterproof. Yeah, it was pitch. Yeah. Whether it was pine pitch, pine tar, it's kind of an interchangeable word, I believe, in my knowledge. Years ago, I was gifted some syrup that my friend had collected and cooked. It upset my digestive system. I guess she must have contaminated it somehow. It's possible. Syrup is because you are dehydrating it down to, I want to say 18%. Is it 18%? Water content, kind of like honey. It is very susceptible when you wash the implements that you boil your sap in or that you use in your sap, I was told do not use soap. Wash it in hot water and, scrub it down. 66 Bree. Maybe that's percent. Hold on. I've got a hydrometer that tells somewhere here. Right there. Oh, gotta reach. Come here. Oh. Okay, here. I feel like Tommy Chong. Okay. When it's hot, 911 degrees Celsius, you want it at 60. Come on, focus in there. 61. Or no, that's 59. And when it's cold, this is saying at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, you want it at 67 when it's cold. I don't know why that's doing that. But this is a hydrometer. It's an old one that was given to me. And when you put it in there, you put it in. I got the cup here too. My friend who does it commercially did it, but you fill this cup, okay, and then you put this in there, and you want that to line up right there, and that will tell you when you're at the right spot, depending on the temperature of it. Roll this back up. But yeah, it's so interesting, man. Who figured this out? Somebody said, hey, you know what? I need some water. So they tapped a tree. They tapped a maple tree. And then they're like, well, okay, I got my water. I want to go ahead and cook something. And they cooked it they overcooked it until it got thick, I guess. And they're like, hey, this is sweet. This is good. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of that's not really maple syrup. It's a flavoring. Birch pitch. I have 3 trees or 2 trees that have, one's got multiple chaga, big chaga growing on it. I want to figure out how to harvest it, when to harvest it, how to use it. Chaga is very, very good for you. High in vitamin C. I think it's got some other medicinal uses and everything too. Yeah. So yeah, the winter is the time to work on all these things. When it's not. Oh, she's talking about the real maple syrup that she buys. You just bought some chaga tea. Yeah, I just got it. There's a guy that I don't know who he is or where he's from. Wendy had talked to him, and he was just waiting for her to call him to come show us how to harvest it. And now, is there any special time or way that you harvest the chaga? Because I want it to keep growing. I don't want to kill it. But I've had that huge chunk of chaga on a tree right out here, next to the range. Well, actually, it's closer to the outhouse than it is the shooting range. You just cut it right off the tree, okay? And then how do you prepare it, and what do you use it for? See, this is stuff. This time of year, even with the little bit of snow we have on the ground, it's easier to get through the woods. No, I won't take all of it. Everyone says you're supposed to harvest when it's extremely cold, but people I have been talking to says that's a myth because you can harvest anytime. Okay. And then what do you use it for? Just to make a tea, to infuse it in a tea, or and if so, how do you flavor? I grind it up, let it dry, then brew it for an hour or so. You can brew it a few times until it's light in color. Okay, we'll see you later, Tammy. I need to get off here too. But I just add maple syrup and some of our Jersey milk. Oh, so you make a tea out of it. You brew it for about an hour. You take the chaga, grind it up, brew it for about an hour. If it looks like it's too dark, you can boil it a few times so it's not so strong. I'm taking it. And then you just add sweetener, maple syrup, and milk, and you have a tea. Okay. And it is supposed to be very, very good for you. In fact, let's ask our resident expert, Mr. Google Pants. Hey, Google, what are the medicinal qualities of chaga?
According to Medical News Today, chaga mushrooms are rich in antioxidants and may have several potential health benefits. Though more research is needed, some studies suggest that chaga mushrooms may be beneficial for lowering cholesterol levels, slowing cancer growth, supporting immune function, and reducing blood pressure.
The cholesterol levels, I need that. My cholesterol, it's not dangerous yet. It's not to the point where they put me on medication for it. But my cholesterol is high. I'm a meat eater. I eat a lot of meat. And in the winter, okay, let's face it, in the summer too, I have a pretty laid back life. I do what I can, when I can, where I can, how I feel like it, basically. I don't I don't work myself to death. And since I'm only, doing stuff for one person, there's no reason for me, I can choose my battles. So that's one reason my cholesterol is probably high. Yes, that is correct. The first brew it will be very dark, but you can brew it up to 2 or 3 times. Good for cancer, I believe. I have. Yes, that's what Miss Google Pants said. Was they believe it anything with antioxidants. Kale has antioxidants attack free radicals in your bloodstream. Free radicals are what they believe causes cancer. The difference is, like with beets and kale, the antioxidants can enter the blood, the cell, and fight free radicals within the cell that are threatening to turn to cancer. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. This is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. Black ash and inner bark, you put it into a tea. It's amazing. Your heart, lungs, and blood flow, and that a lot of natives would come by black ash slabs off me for the bark. Nice. Yeah. Guys, the pharmaceutical companies, here we go. Roll up my sleeves. The pharmaceutical companies who are trying to kill you, I mean, who are making all this money, they get the property. They learn how to make the medicines by studying nature. They say, oh, the willow bark kills pain. Let's see if we can figure out what in the willow bark kills the pain. Oh, it's this part. Well, let's separate that from the willow bark and all the other good stuff that's in the willow bark, and we will put it in a pill and charge people for it. Great chat this eve. I must go to edit a video. Have it. Yes, you too, John. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for dropping in tonight. Not sure if it's down your way or not, Tracy, but it's here in Ontario. It doesn't get too big, though. 10 to 12 inches across. Black ash. I do know that we have some ash trees. Not a lot. I know what out in Colorado, what they call aspen, we call popple. But yeah, I'm not sure. I do know that we have ash. We have, I don't know. I know we are lucky we have black cherry, which I make a black cherry bark tincture that I mix with my elderberry infused glycerin to make my cough syrup every year, so that if I get a cough, I have cough syrup, and it tastes just like Robitussin. And it's the same consistency and everything. And you know, it's the tincture. It's 2 parts. Yeah, 2 parts. 2 or 3 parts of the elderberry infused glycerin syrup to 1 part of the cherry bark tincture. But the cherry bark tincture is just, you take the new branches of a cherry tree, the really thin ones of a young cherry tree, and you just scrape the bark off with the edge of your knife and soak it in vodka for a few weeks. So if worst comes to worst, just drink the cherry bark tincture. You won't worry about coughing. Aspen is related to the poplar, but gets a lot bigger, looks the same. We have both here in Ontario. We probably do. And I have probably called an aspen popple or poplar also. My dad was a lumberjack, but I didn't quite get that gene. I mean, we cut our own wood and stuff, but I just have a broad but shallow knowledge of the tree. Oh, now you're just being mean. What type of black cherry? The eastern cherry, it grows in the Northeast. We use it for firewood. It's awesome for logs and stuff once it gets big enough. They use it for veneer and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just the eastern black cherry tree. It when it's younger and stuff, it has a berry on it similar in size, shape, and appearance to an elderberry, but it will be red. Hey, Remy, how's it going, my friend? Remy, maybe you can answer this. You're a forager. The black cherry tree that we have here in the Northeast. It's not like the cherry trees that they have in Washington D.C. You see the blossoming cherry trees. It's not like that. It's not like maraschino cherries or anything like that. No, not choke cherries. They're black cherry trees. They grow predominantly in the Northeast, which makes them kind of sought after because they pretty much grow here. Oh wow. Yeah. I would say hey Google, show me a picture of a black cherry tree.
Showing pictures that match.
That's the leaves. Hold on, let me see if I can. Okay, there are the leaves. But when they get bigger, hold on, let me come over here real quick and I'll share it on my screen. No, not that. Black cherry, northeastern black cherry. No, you don't get actual cherries from it. Let's go to images. I'll see if I can find it. Adirondack nature. Black cherry is prunus. Hold on, let me share this with you. Present, share screen. Northeastern black cherry, share. Okay, this trees that it's Prunus serratinea. Wait a minute. And that is the bark. It's not sharing that other thing there. Okay, let's see. See, that doesn't look familiar to me at all. And that says it's the same. These are the. Why can't I make that bigger? These are the cherries that are on it. As it's younger, when it's younger, I don't really see them on the big ones. Most black cherries you see grow like this. They are huge. Let's see, go back up here. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. And that's what you want. Um, let me see if I can find it again. Um, this is when they're younger, you take these stems here, the green stems, the new growth, and that is what you just scrape off that very thin um that very thin coating of bark, and you want the outer and the green. Basically, it'll be white. The tree inside, the limb inside will be white. But you scrape that all off. You fill a jar, then you fill it with 80 proof vodka, and that'll cure your cough. But you let it sit for about 2 or 3 weeks. You take vegetable glycerin and put your elderberry berries in the glycerin and put it in the sun, in a sunny spot, sunny, warm spot for several weeks. And it'll change colors and all that good stuff. And then you strain out the cherries, and you put in it's either 2 or 3 parts of the glycerin and then 1 part of the cherry tincture, the cherry bark tincture, and that makes a cough medicine. I'm serious, man. It tastes just like Robitussin cough syrup. Same consistency, and it works great. But yeah, these are the things that go through our minds in the winter. See how I brought it back around to the subject in the winter. Yeah. And if you got elderberries growing and you got cherry trees around, the black cherry trees around, then you can the vegetable glycerin. They sell little things of it at Walmart. Let's see here. Let's go back to vegetable glycerin. Oh, you can buy it by the USP kosher vegetable glycerin for $14 from Bulk Apothecary. Hold on, let me. No, not remove, dummy. Yeah, right here, $14 for a jug of it. I have to buy it from a health food store because Walmart just sells these little things of it. $59. That shoot doggy. I don't need it that bad. I'll cough. I will cough. But yeah. And it tastes just like Robitussin. And I always try to have some. I think my jar's still in the fridge. You got to keep it refrigerated because your solvent is glycerin rather than vodka. The 80 proof vodka will preserve it for about 6 months. I would say it would be good, 6 or 8 months, which we have about 8 months of winter here. So you can, it'll last you the winter. I usually make about a quart jar of it. All right, thanks for stopping by. Tell Alyssa we said hi. And you too, you have a wonderful night. Guys, I am going to go ahead and head out. It has been a long day. Thank you for stopping by the homestead tonight. Don't forget to hit that merch. Hit up the merch at tham141homestead.com. And don't forget to check out the No Borders Homesteaders channel on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We do an hour on YouTube, then an hour on Patreon. Guys, as I'm editing these things, it is so funny. And I've made a new rule that if you, once I hit record, you can't say that's just for us. That's just because some of the stuff is just hilarious. It comes out of the minds of homesteaders. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you for stopping by the homestead tonight. Check out the No Borders Homesteaders channel, as well as my maple syrup playlist on my channel, THAM141 Homestead. I saw it earlier today, actually. When it was still light out, I saw the moon. And I might have shot the moon when I scared that owl away. But yeah, I've got to get out there and close that door, because just in case, because the owl was on this side of the house and I shot that way, because the last thing you want to do in New York, well, in the United States, is shoot a bird of prey. That's not good. It's like a $10,000 fine. So I don't even shoot. I try to scare them off. And a 12 gauge makes a big bang and scares them off. But yeah, he was hooting. I was sitting here on the live stream and I hear woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, oh no, I got to do something. So hopefully YouTube doesn't flag this video, because I got to tell you, I did it on live. I stepped over to the door and I warned everybody, don't be alarmed. But that's the realities of living on a homestead. You have to protect your animals. You constantly listening for the chickens to raise Cain or the cats to get in a big fight like they did earlier here on the live stream. Constantly listening and watching to tend to your stuff. Well, all right, guys, I will talk to you later. Y'all have a great day and God bless.